Hello, welcome to Verbling. Hi there, I'm Teacher Oakley. And for the next hour, all speaking levels are welcome to join me. We're going to talk about and maybe debate and share our opinions about related topics: censorship, violence and sex in the media. How much should the government be doing? How much should industry be doing? How much should parents be doing to curb the amount of sex and violence in game videos, films, television, YouTube, and on Facebook pages? There's a lot to talk about, actually. Okay, so anyway, that's it. Welcome to the class, Gabriel. Hello.
Hello, Oakley. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I am fine.
Good. Okay, let's open up with a little background. Gabriel, I'm from the United States. Of course, in the United States, we had parental guidance, mind you, parental guidance warnings for movies. All right, movies, actually, musical content like CDs or whatever, films, television, whatever. You have okay, if you buy a musical, it'll a music album, rap music, it'll say explicit lyrics, not for sale to under 17, for example. Or you go to the movies and PG-13 means you're supposed to be 13 years old. Rated R, restricted, means 17 years old. Rated X, of course, means you're supposed to be 18. You're looking at pornography at that point. So we have different kinds of ratings, government ratings for different media. However, there's basically nothing for the internet, and there are warnings for video games sometimes, but of course, in reality, a 17-year-old can walk in any movie, a 13-year-old can walk in any movie, a 13-year-old can buy a video game with, you know, shooting and maiming and raping and murder and all kinds of terrible, nasty things. And he can walk into the mall and plunk down his money and take it home. No one's going to say anything about it. Okay, Gabriel, where you are, what is the situation?
Well, in my country, there are guidelines in TV, like in USA, but a different rate for guidelines. For example, we use other letter for each age.
Okay.
But that isn't only in the TV.
All right.
Yes, and maybe on movies.
Okay.
On cinema, movies too use guidelines.
Okay. Now, all right, we'll talk about other things later. Let's stop there and talk about that. Okay. For example, television.
Okay.
Does anybody really pay any attention to these guidelines?
No.
Okay.
The children watch television very late, and in that show use words for adults, for old people.
Okay. So, all right, adult language shows in your country are on later at night?
Yes, adult language in
Right.
10 o'clock, 10 p.m. is
Right.
is a time for show for adults.
Okay. Now, okay, in the U.S., forget it, any time of the day or night. In reality, I now live in the Philippines, and it's a little different. For television, they have guidelines that before they have a show, they flash the screen, recommended, not recommended for 15 or below. It's basically what they use every time for everything. You see the same guidelines for every single show. But in the Philippines, they bleep out all bad words. You don't hear bad words on television
Yes, in
at
my
all.
country, bleep too.
Yeah,
But in the end of the word, the idea of the word is very uh, easy,
very obvious.
very obvious. That is the word.
Yeah, okay. You can see them mouth the words. When we can
Yeah.
see someone speaking and it's obvious what they're saying, we can see them mouth the word. We know what they
Yes.
said, right? Okay. Yeah, true. Good point. Welcome to the class, Michael. Hello.
Hi, teacher Rockney.
How are you?
Great, how are you?
So far so good today, actually. Feeling okay.
What's new
Uh,
with you?
what's new? Nothing. I'm getting
Not too
behind
much.
schedule, but I have busy. I'm gonna be busy. I have a very busy day until midnight tonight.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, I saw that you last class yesterday. I looked up. You have like last class about Idaho.
Idaho.
Yep.
Yeah, right. Late tonight,
It's like 10 o'clock in your.
my time. Yeah. How do you know that? Okay.
You
Yeah.
told me the difference of the time.
Anyway, yeah, busy day, but anyway, never mind my busy day. We're talking about censorship and what actually what I want to get into eventually is talking about sharing our opinions about how much responsibility does the government have, how much do parents have, how much do the media corporations themselves have. I'm trying to first of all get an idea of what it's like. So, Michael, in your country, in television shows, do they use bad words? What's the state of television? Let's start with that. Is there violence? Is there sex? Are there bad words?
Well, I don't watch so much television
Mm-hmm.
and TV programs, so I watch like nowadays more American television.
Mm-hmm.
And but from what I see, I think there is no bad words. For example, movies when they are translated, there are not so many bad words in them. Like there's some cliche bad words you can hear, but they are not so strong bad words. So they're kind of easy bad words. But
Okay.
if the movie was translated, for example, not official, how would you say, like by some so not qualified company, maybe
Hmm.
by people, some private people. We used to have this kind of movies when was translated not at professional level. The
Really?
movies were
Okay.
translated not.
Are you are you talking about in the cinemas on television?
I think you could bought this cassette
Right.
on the
Okay.
street.
Right.
I think,
Right.
not on TV.
So the
But
government has no control over that.
I'm not
None.
sure
That's
if they
black
have or
market.
no.
So
No, they used to have. Nowadays, no one buys. No one buys movies. They all the people download movies over the internet. So from
okay.
the internet. But
Right.
they used to. We used to have movies, and there were bad translation, kind of weird translation.
Sure. Okay. Right. Yeah, I understand that. There's black market, which really the government cannot do anything about whatsoever. It's black market. We're talking about censorship and government censorship of violence and sex and bad words and so forth in different medias, in video games and movies and television. Um, yeah, of course, if the child wants to go and put on a makeup and a mustache and buy a pornographic magazine, there's very little the government can do about that. Right.
They could ask their passport, like give me your ID card. Right?
Okay, well there you go, Michael. In your country, what is the age to buy porn? Do you have pornography stores? Do you have? I mean,
I'm not
sex
sure.
shops?
No, I think I never seen at least.
No.
Sex shops? No, we have for sure. We have like where you can buy some device.
And would you be identified? Would you have to show your ID? I'm sure you
Honestly,
don't know, but you've heard.
honestly, I know this is 100% information. I never visited the sex shop. I know for sure because I see the advertisements over the internet, like on the internet, like if you need something, buy or like in classified some kind of things. Like I see, but I never visited a sex shop. So, but I think you need to if they see that you are not appropriate. I mean, the age is not appropriate. They would ask your ID card. For example, if here for sure we have like children, people who are younger than 18 years old, they cannot buy cigarettes, alcohol, these kind of things.
Right.
And if the vendor thinks that you are younger, they ask you your ID. They are required. If they don't ask and they sell, they could be fined by the government.
That's my question. That's my
or closed down. The company could be closed down or something. Taken license.
Right. That's exactly my question. What are the government restrictions in your country? Okay, buying pornographic material. Yeah. Okay. In the United States, the same. You have to be 18. You could be ID'd. Could be. They don't seem to be nearly as fastidious about it as they are for cigarettes and alcohol. I don't know. Now, on the other hand, the United States, if you go to a violent movie, who's going to stop you if you're 12 years old and you want to go to a rated R movie? The answer, no one. No one ever gets in trouble for that. Not the cinema owners, not the movie makers, not even the 12-year-old kid. If the kid wants to buy a video game, whatever. Aaron, Aaron, where are you from?
Hello, Mexico.
Hi. Mexico, okay. Hi, Aaron.
Yeah. I disagree with you.
What's that?
I disagree with you about video games. I think video games don't promote violence.
They don't. Okay.
They don't. I think it's only a distraction, like a movie. If the people want to do other things because the people is not about the video game. In my opinion, I am a video gamer. I play video game, so that and I had never do to kill or hurt other people. And I've been playing video game for about 30 years, and I have never did nothing like that. And things the problem is the people, not the video game.
Okay. Okay, extrapolating on that, do you think the government should have absolutely no censorship of violence or sex or bad language or anything like that?
No, I think a rating is good because if a boy with about 12 or 13 years, they could know play all video games. But I think if the kids are 70 or 16, they could.
Okay. For video games, for example. So in Mexico, are there any rules? Or can any child go buy any video game?
In Mexico, we can buy any video games.
Okay.
Uh, Usually, but if you have money you want to do, you have to be a little old. I think
You,
16 years or 17 years, you can go to buy whatever video game you want. Today, the parents are uh, more close to the boys, and the father can see the kind of video game
uh-huh.
to the boy too. But it is like uh, it's not for me. It's not the cause of the violence people. I think if you are a mature and you are
Mature.
mature or a normal people, you can play
Okay.
all in.
Fair enough. And fair enough. I actually agree with you. I don't think I actually said that. I thought that video games uh, cause violence. I just said that they're accessible. Okay. Juan, let's. All right. Well, Aaron opened that can of worms, so let's go there. Do you think that media violence in the movies and television and video games, do you think it actually affects people psychologically? Does it actually make people more violent, or not really?
Uh, so for me, it's like a 50-50. I cannot. Um, I do not think that it affects in 100%. However, it does influence in some way because it it makes people like to see it as normal in a collective way because sadly because it does exist, violence and all the things that we see in TV or reading books. Uh, Fiction always has its source from reality. And the thing is that if there's people, for a person who has um, okay, influence, how do you say it in a correct word, in a correct way?
A person who has influence or person who is influenced? I'm not.
Who is influenced?
Okay.
Who tends to be influenced?
Who tends to be, you could, common collocation, tends to be easily influenced.
Okay,
No.
for a person who tends to be easily influenced is like a gateway for for going a little bit further. I know
Okay.
yeah, it depends in a way because well, children obviously because they're growing up, they're starting to know life and because of their nature are more easily influenced. But well, it's kind of an example that if there's really no guidance at all, but not the one that if you go with someone over 13 or 18 or just to enter, no, really someone that at least will have 5 minutes after the movie to actually discuss besides if it was great or not to make that person know that it's not real. Those are people making money. It's their job.
Making money, and that is true. If anybody has any comments, one show that I find very disturbing is The Walking Dead. It is excessively popular, at least here where I am in the Philippines. Really popular. I don't even understand. I can't even watch that channel that it's on, which I won't say. I can't even watch that channel because the commercials which are on incessantly are very disturbing. And I have a 1.5 and a 3-year-old daughter. I can't have them seeing that. and suddenly
is-
those commercials come on, and they're absolutely revolting.
What
People's
is
head
incessantly?
incessant, over and over and over and over again. Every 5 minutes, they've got a Walking Dead commercial. They
Okay.
never stop.
Mm.
And I find that very disturbing. Well, I have an option. I just never watch that channel.
Yep.
Can't.
You can delete
Yeah.
from your list
Yeah,
of channels.
basically I have. So much for that. But some things like that I kind of find disturbing. I don't really understand. Is anybody here a Walking Dead fan? I don't mean to disparage your taste.
I don't know
No,
what is that.
I
But
don't
you
watch
just did.
Walking Dead. In my country, the TV is Walking Dead, but I don't watch that TV show.
Okay.
I think the violent people with violent movie or without violent movie is violent in self.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, is other reason about the people is violent.
All
So
right.
video games or TV shows or cinema, maybe that is another reason for violent people.
Okay.
But that um, that movie maybe give an idea to the violent people.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay. Maybe, and that's. Hmm. Uh. Okay.
But
Well.
Michael, you should try to get the opportunity to work in that. It's a really nice a series of whatever content. There is is deep, there is intelligent. They have a lot of. I think you should try. It's a nice. It's not only violence. I think they try
Walking
to.
Dead.
Walking Dead,
Yeah.
they express they express sentimental, they spread
It's a
love
drama.
between.
It's a
It's a
drama.
drama.
Yes, that's true, and it's heavily acclaimed. I'm not gonna. It's just absolutely not to my taste. Watching every week, you get to watch somebody get their head shot off, brains exploding, somebody's arms chopped off, and that's.
But zombies are that they don't feel they don't have feeling.
Yeah, but they're zombies, so they don't have feeling, so you're not supposed to be affected by that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell that to my 2-year-old, Aaron. Right. Yeah. Anyway, it's not my cup of tea. It's a zombie show, is what it is. The big fascination with zombies and vampires over the last few years is yet another social phenomenon, which I do not understand. I don't get it. That's just me. Maybe I'm just old. Okay. Let's talk about this. All right. In the United States, you're all well aware that with an alarming and increasing frequency, some nut job goes mental and starts shooting up whatever, a school, McDonald's, a city street, whatever. We all know about this, obviously. Why is this happening? Is this, okay, well, let me throw it out to you, and I'll see. I can give you my feedback later. Michael, why is this social phenomenon occurring? Because I assure you, it didn't always occur. There were criminals in the past, Bonnie and Clyde, and famous bank robbers who really didn't care and who basically killed people who got in their way, but they didn't go actively kill people just to kill people. They were seriously deranged sociopaths who killed anyone who got in their way. All right, United States has a long history of that, going back to Billy the Kid and Western cowboy outlaws. But they didn't actually just go kill people. What do you think, Michael? Any thoughts about this?
Well, first, in my opinion, I think United States is a huge country. So they have like 300 million people. So you can find always in a country, you can find a crazy person. I presume in my country I do have this kind of people that could do like that. just the country, like the number of people is. So statistically, in the United States, it's more likely to happen like that, this kind of thing. And I presume in China happens these things, but it's not mediatization. What is the word? Mediatized or?
I like that. Mediatized. I don't think that's a word, but it should be a word.
What is the word?
It is not publicized.
Like you cannot see on the media like so
Right.
much, but
It's not
because
made public or yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's mean or median.
Okay, it's
And-
not really made public. Yeah.
and but the United States, there are a lot of TVs, and they search for something really interesting, like for sensations, for this kind of thing. This is first. Secondly, it's about guns. I think if the people they don't would not if they don't have the guns, they would cut with the knife, so less people would die. This is why so many people die. So I presume there should be some gun regulation law. And if they would have United States, I mean, not everyone would could buy a gun. For example, recently, like last week, the 22 years boy, he's like. Depressed, something like that, because he haven't had girls or something. Have you ever heard about that?
Yeah, right.
So he was like, I don't want to speak in a funny way about him, but he was like, he haven't had like girls. He like recorded himself on YouTube, and he said like, I'm going to shoot everyone because I'm a loser, something like that. The message was on YouTube, and he took I think first the knife, and after that the gun, and they said that he bought that gun from the store or I don't know where. How he could buy like with psychological problems these kind of guns or? But about the violence, I think games are okay. I used to play a violent game, relatively violent, not so. I mean violent like what is the past of fight?
Fought.
I fought in wars like World War II, World War III, like these kind of games, and they're kind of interesting. They're not so violent. They just they kind of movie. Like you watch a movie, but you are involved in that movie. Kind of the same. If you watch a movie about World War II, it's the same situation, but you are involved in that, and you can regulate how much blood you see on the screen. I mean, you can put without any blood, and you will not see any blood and any like these kind of things. But you can be very aggressive, and you can put a lot of blood, like you will be in blood only.
Really? Blood adjustment. Okay, that's a new one for me.
Like aggressivity adjustment. Like Call of Duty, this game is called.
Right. Okay. Right.
This is awesome game, and I think it's not about. And also I think it's about the parenting. I mean, parents should kind of talk with that person. They should have like good relations. They should ask, "Hey, what bothers you?" Like that boy, for example, 22 years boy. They should ask, "What's going on with you?" But I think here is the lack of relations.
Right. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, that was a lot of factors there. Okay.
And
All right,
guns,
so
they should
guns.
be prohibited.
All right.
For sure. You will not with guns that you have at home. You will not take over of the government, as is written in the Constitution.
Right, which I've talked to you about before. No, actually, I totally agree. Crazy people should not have guns. I'm totally with you on that. I'm American, and I am for gun laws, but I agree you're going to buy a gun, whatever. They should do a thorough background check. If it takes a month, who cares? If you need a gun within just a few days, then you're probably up to no good. You're probably doing something very
Yeah.
wrong
I'm
anyway.
going to play in Call of Duty on the streets. Yeah.
Yeah, right? I need a gun immediately. Well, then that's a problem to begin with. Okay. All right. Aaron, what do you think? Oh, let me quickly welcome Paolo. Hello, Paolo.
How are you, Ugly?
I'm very well, thank you. Nice to see you again. All right, I'll give you a minute to settle in. We're talking about violence and all that. I posed to the class, talking to everyone about what do you think is the what's the problem, man? Why are so many crazy Americans going nuts and shooting people just to shoot people? Not because they're robbing or anything, just because they
There
want
is not a
to kill
lot.
people. They all are. Every other American. No.
Yes, I know you're a big fan of The Walking Dead. I just watch it.
Yeah. No. I hate that show.
I know.
But anyway, that's just my taste. But Aaron, what do you
Yep.
think? Why is it? Why are people?
I think the problem in USA is the facilities for the people to buy or get a guns. I think is one. I think this is a direct problem for a lot of crazy people or affected people or sick people do this kind of thing because in USA you can easily get a heavy guns. You can get a machine gun like the army, something like that. You can get a lot of things. I think this is the essential point for USA. If USA were not this facility to get army, they don't get to because let me see in Mexico. In Mexico, is no it's not common. We have a lot of guns, but they have for the narcotraficants or the people who the bad guys. They have a lot of arms. But for normal people like me or other people, it's difficult. We can search and the only thing where they can go is all 640 gun for six ball really old maybe one won't work when the people will use it's difficult for normal people and I think for that reason in Mexico it's not common normal people do that things of course we have other people the narcotraficants they kill a lot of people in Mexico we don't need crazy people do that but I think the principal thing is the armification of USA.
Armification. Okay, the arming. You can just say the arming of the USA. Okay, Aaron, machine. Okay, machine gun.
Machine gun.
SH sound. And where follow-up question? Where? Okay, only the bad guys get guns. Actually, that's just as scary, or maybe even scarier than the United States. Where did they get their guns in Mexico?
About the black.
From the U.S.
Yeah, not only U.S. Also for Russian or for other parts. Yeah, for South America. You know, there is a lot of place you can the army. Not only U.S. I think this is a bad understand about that because sometimes if you go to Russian or the black market of Russian, you can get better guns and cheaper. Or also you come to Colombia or some I don't know how to say the people who are like a little army, independent army or civil army in South America, like Colombia, something like that. They can build.
Yeah, that sort of much looser kind of army is called a militia.
Yeah.
Militia, yeah, right.
There's a lot of play with the people. They have money and they can buy everything.
Okay, Gabriel, any thoughts about wackos, just killing people to kill people. When I was young, this really didn't happen. It did happen, but usually really, really twisted serial killers who killed one person at a time. A la Jack the Ripper, Jeffrey Dahmer, these kind of nutcases. This whole idea of going out in a blaze of glory, shooting everyone you can, and then shooting yourself. What is the deal, Gabriel? Why? Do you have any answers?
I don't know that people. What is your I don't know. I have one question about guns and USA.
Sure.
Why is easy to the people got a gun, a weapon in USA? In my country, it's very difficult get a weapon.
Okay. It's very simple. The IRA, okay, is a very, very powerful political active political lobby. They buy and sell politicians. In the United States, if you have enough money, you can own your very own politician, Gabriel. And so the people that sell guns are extremely powerful, of course. Not only that, it's very easy to persuade some Americans that is because it's in there. It is actually in the Constitution, all right? It is actually one of the main elements of the document which supports the entire United States. It's in there already. So you're going to have a hard time fighting Americans to say that they don't have the right to have weapons when it is one of the few essential rights given in the base document for the entire government, the entire nation. So there you go, a couple reasons. And because, frankly, the other answer is I don't know, Gabriel. It seems obvious to me that laws have to be changed. I don't get it, really.
I think all the people may have a right about defense. But
Yeah.
when I have a gun, the line in the defense or attack is very how is the word?
Okay, and Michael knows this. I've explained it before, but as this amendment, as this basic precept in the United States Constitution is written, the idea that everyone has the right to bear arms is written directly in conjunction with the idea that American citizens not only should, but have the obligation to overthrow their government if their government oversteps its bounds. It is actually written in the Constitution. Our government in the United States is actually built for periodic civil war. You have to understand that. People don't understand that about the United States. But the whole concept of the Constitution was to set things up so there could be a civil war every time the government got too much power, which inevitably happens with every government. Actually, I know that may sound bizarre, but it is a government set up to fail by design. Actually, crazy, huh?
Yeah, very crazy.
Yes. Well, it's not meant to be the 1,000-year Reich like Germany. It's not meant to be like that. It is meant to metamorphose and change periodically every 100 or 200 years. It's supposed to happen that way. So that is why the whole gun thing is so confusing for many other people from different countries. They don't get it. Well, the idea for Thomas Jefferson and George Washington and Benjamin Franklin was that people are going to need guns because they're going to need to fight the government sooner or later. It's inevitable. It was not thought as possible. It was thought of as inevitable. So there you go.
Okay, thanks.
Sure. Whether that's right or wrong, I'm not making a judgment. I'm just trying to elucidate why that's so deeply encrusted into the American psyche, why they feel they have to have guns.
Do you have a gun at home?
Me? I live in the Philippines, so no. Did I
How
in the
many?
United States? Absolutely.
Oh,
No problem. Yeah, I like
You were
shooting.
potential. You were potential.
No, I did not
No.
have. I had no pistols. I had no automatic weapons. All right. I had rifles for hunting rabbits or ducks for food. That's it. Yeah, there's no reason, in my opinion, that people need machine guns to hunt a deer. That's totally stupid.
Yeah, or for defense his house.
A grenade.
Yeah, grenades or
To
really.
hunt a deer.
That's ridiculous. And what do you self-defense? You're going to have a 50 cal machine gun? That's retarded. That makes no sense at all. But anyway, no, I agree with a lot of what you guys are saying. But okay. Anyway, Gabriel, before you asked, so I told you. So what do you think? Why are I find it disturbing, and I don't have an answer. I find it very disturbing that Americans now just kill people en masse. This never happened before. I remember back in the 1980s was the first time this really happened. The expression "go postal." He went postal because there was a famous postal worker. I have no idea who this guy was. He went crazy and killed everyone in the post office because he was so stressed out from work, was the reason given. And he was the first in what has now become a long and continuous line of crazed murder, mass murder on one incident. Okay, so why has this happened? Gabriel, any thoughts?
I don't know. I remember on a movie about that topics. It's a movie with Michael Douglas. I believe the name is Falling Down. That is Falling Down.
Okay, don't know. I'm not sure.
And that in that movie, Michael Douglas is a co-worker, is a employee, and one day he lost your job, he lost maybe your house and your family, and is very depressed.
Yeah.
So he take your weapon and shoot to the other people. Maybe that's the movie. I think the people want and search happiness in your life, and when that happiness is now in your life, is very depressed. So depressed, more guns. Maybe the people is crazy and I don't know.
All right.
Maybe that reason is
Are more people depressed? Is that? I don't know. Okay. Let's see. Falling down. All right. Thanks, Gabriel. I'm gonna have to check that out. Juan, any thoughts about this? Paula, I'm gonna ask you in just a second. Juan, what do you think? Why are crazy Americans running to the movie theater, killing everyone in it? Why do people do such stupid things?
I don't know. I remember it was last year, right? The shooting when the premiere for the last Batman movie.
Yeah.
I remember watching and reading about it, the news, and I think I read one actual reporter from CNN who was at the theater, but he wasn't. He stayed up. He was watching the movie with his wife, and he said that at the beginning they well, not only them, but all the people in the theater, they were confused if there were the sounds from the machine guns and the shootings were from the movie itself or the actual, because it was in one scene where they were shooting, and when they realized that it wasn't a movie, it was live, people panicked, and then when they started explaining and what happened and how was it and how that guy took all the time to dress to get the guns and all the machinery he used, you start to think it has to be crazy is like a nice word to
Yeah.
to describe how someone can. That, of course, I'm not justifying at all, but something there's a big difference from if you have a gun and maybe you have a lack of impulse control and you get into an argument or something that does, you're not getting robbed or your life is not being threat or your family. But well, that day you just had enough, and so you remember, oh, I have a gun, okay, bah. But to take the time and to make a whole plan to do something like that, there's where I say, well, the problem is not only with the person, so with what you guys were talking earlier about the legislation. It's open to anyone. So if there is more freedom to access those kind of resources, as in any kind of a resource, good or bad, then it's easier. And in this case, for these tragedies to happen. And as for why, I wish I had the answer, but I mental problem, either physically in the brain, damage in the brain, and someone that needs help or needed help after he does something like that.
Right. You brought up the point that many of these people plan their attacks, and that's called premeditated, which is, in fact, Michael brought up the young man a few days ago, last week, whatever. He had left messages. This is what he's going to do. Obviously, this is premeditated, pre-planned. These guys aren't just, exactly, it's not a crime of passion. A crime of passion is being emotionally overwrought and doing something bad suddenly, right there, right now. There's no note beforehand. There's no plan. There's no direction. Very disorganized, just whatever they do. The crime of passion is completely different. You're exactly right. Many of these things that we're talking about were definitely premeditated, thought out in advance, which I find to be bizarre. Paolo, any brilliant beams of light you can shine on this? Yeah.
No, I believe, honestly, I can think in my mind why they do that. I think they are crazy. Nah, I don't know what they do that. Honestly, I can understand it. Maybe a bad parents. I don't know. I don't know. In my country, for example, it's easy buy guns, but we never had an episode like those. Never. So
Right.
I don't know.
Sometimes I think it's partially the media's fault. I personally think that when this happens, there should be a total media blackout. Forget it. Report nothing about it. I know that's really controversial and really drastic. I know that.
No, but I
Maybe
get
it's
it. I
not
get
being.
it. I
But
get it. Maybe those child don't see the others like heroes, and they want to do the same.
right, that's the idea. Yeah,
Okay,
because I think that's very dangerous. Emulating. Okay, that's copycat crimes. That's what that's called, by the way.
that's it. That's it.
Um, copycat crimes. Okay, these can be any kind of crimes, by the way, but copycat crimes, especially violent crimes, are horrible. Okay, so all right, who? All right, Michael, you said earlier you think it's more up to the parents. Is it the parents? Who bears the brunt of responsibility? The parents, the government, or the actual media themselves? What's your view? Or all three to some degree. What do you think?
Okay, do you know in comments so about this guy that recently, like 3 days ago or 1 week, shot like people, like young guy? Do you know what people written in comments line? Like,
No. I
I mean,
actually actively avoid reading about it, Googling it, looking it up on YouTube. I actively totally avoid it. The only interaction I have is when I accidentally watching CNN or it's a headline, and then I do not even open the article. I just actively really disregard it. Honestly.
No, me neither. I don't search on Google, but we have like news portals, and there you can read top news. And there, like people from my country, they wrote like that. They have written like that. Like instead to buy guns, he should with those money to go to prostitutes.
Right.
And to
Well,
solve his problem.
guns are expensive. He definitely could have taken a young lady out to a nice dinner. That's for sure.
Like this message was like was quite funny to read. But to answer your question about who is responsible, I think everyone a little bit. So government for guns, they should ban the guns. Parents, they should pay attention to their children. So I think why this young man did that, because there certainly was like a lack of communication between him and his father. Because what I've seen on TV, like his father started to yell that the government, only the government is guilty in this situation. He said like because of guns, my son did that. If the guns were banned, nothing would happen. He said only like that. So I think.
Okay, I think you've hit on something, which I agree. I think I was unaware the father was saying that. In other words, the father's completely taking zero responsibility.
Yeah,
well, there you go. Right?
That only the government is.
So what has he taught his son? To never take responsibility for himself. There you go. There you go, Michael. That's why he did that. If you will take no responsibility for your own actions, then you're very likely to do something like that. There you go. Thanks for sharing that. I didn't realize the father did that. He shifted blame entirely to the government. Okay.
You can watch his interview.
Wow. There you go. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Gabriel, any last thoughts? Who bears the blame? The government, the parents, the media themselves, or the individual?
I think that the parents.
Okay. The parents? What? All right.
The parents is more responsibility for your children.
All right. All right. Well, I think that's a good point. Juan, what do you think?
Yeah, I have to agree. Both parents and media. But in this case, it was a kid. I'm sorry, but I'm not that aware of this one.
Hmm.
But he was young.
Yeah, I think 22 or something.
22.
Pretty young. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Then, well, even though he was already over 18, but uh, well, at that age, you still need if you have your family, your parents who have been uh, uh, important that they know if they had noticed something or or in that kid to help him.
Okay. Yeah.
They raise him.
I still like the idea of teaching your children how to be responsible for their own actions myself.
Exactly.
Yeah. Paulo, any last
I
thoughts
think
before we
that
close it?
if you combine bad parenthood with a child who watch guns videos on YouTube all day, maybe some bullying, you got one of those kids messed up.
The perfect brew, huh?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, that's a good point. Yeah. When all factors come together
Yes.
that we've been talking about today, that could be trouble. Okay. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot, guys. Our time
Okay,
is
okay.
up. Thanks, and I'll see you
Bye.
Bye bye, thanks.
soon here on Verbling. Bye.